A major geopolitical shockwave has hit the world following a United States military operation in Venezuela that led to the capture of the country's sitting president, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Cilia Flores. In response, the Alliance of Sahel States, made up of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, issued a strong condemnation, calling the U.S. action an act of aggression and a violation of international law, national sovereignty, and the United Nations Charter. This reaction places three African military-led governments directly into one of the most serious global diplomatic crises in decades. Before we get into it, kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Over the weekend, U.S. Special Operations Forces carried out a direct military operation in Caracas, Venezuela's capital. The operation included strikes on military installations and disruptions to electricity supplies in parts of the city. During the operation, U.S. forces seized President Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores and transported them out of Venezuela. They were flown to the United States and taken into custody in New York, where both appeared in federal court. On Monday, they pleaded not guilty to charges including narco-terrorism and other criminal offenses brought by U.S. prosecutors. This marks one of the rarest events in modern history, a sitting head of state being captured by a foreign military and placed on trial in another country. The Alliance of Sahel States, known as the A.E.S., released a formal statement condemning the U.S. operation. The bloc said the United States had committed a serious violation of international law by attacking Venezuela and forcibly removing its president. It said the action violated Venezuela's sovereignty and the principles of the United Nations Charter. The A.E.S. called on the United Nations Security Council to fully assume its responsibility to maintain international peace and security. It urged the Council to clearly condemn Washington's military action and to work toward restoring legality in international relations. The bloc also reaffirmed its commitment to a world order based on equality among sovereign states, respect for international law, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. This event has triggered a global debate about whether powerful nations can legally use military force to arrest leaders of other countries. Under the United Nations Charter, states are prohibited from using force against another country's territory or political independence unless authorized by the Security Council or carried out in self-defense. In this case, no United Nations authorization was issued for the U.S. operation. That is why many governments and international organizations have raised concerns that the action could set a dangerous precedent. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres expressed serious concern about the risk of instability and emphasized the importance of respecting international law. The African Union also voiced deep concern and warned that the operation violated the principle of state sovereignty. ECOWAS, the regional bloc of West African states, urged respect for Venezuela's independence and territorial integrity. Major global powers responded sharply. Russia and China condemned the U.S. action and called it a violation of international law. Iran also denounced the operation. In Latin America, Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia warned that the operation threatens regional stability. Cuba described the action as state terrorism. Some European governments expressed concern about how the operation was carried out, even while maintaining criticism of Venezuela's government. The A.E.S. response is significant because Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have all faced foreign pressure, sanctions, and political isolation. These countries argue that sovereignty and non-interference are essential protections for weaker states. By condemning the U.S. action, they are aligning themselves with a growing group of nations that fear powerful countries are weakening the rules that protect all states from military intervention. To them, this is not just about Venezuela. It is about whether any government can be removed by force without international approval. The United Nations Security Council is now under pressure to address the crisis. But the Council is deeply divided, with the United States, Russia, and China holding veto power. This makes any official condemnation or enforcement action difficult. Meanwhile, Venezuela is facing political uncertainty, security risks, and economic instability following the sudden removal of its president. The capture of Venezuela's leader by U.S. forces has shaken the foundations of international relations. The condemnation by the Alliance of Sahel States shows that this crisis has become a global test of sovereignty, international law, and the balance of power in the modern world. At the center of this moment is one question. In today's global system, does international law protect all nations equally, or only the most powerful? That's all for today's video. Kindly like, subscribe, and share this video to reach more people.